tools. We're waiting for
Very
you.
good. Okay. So thank you so much, and let me get started. My name is Jesus Soriano. I'm a program director in the SBIR STTR program here at the National Science Foundation. I'm a physician by training. I was an academic, also an entrepreneur, and I did as well some economic development in Puerto Rico for a year. I am saying all of these things not to show off, but because the program directors at the SBIR STTR program here at NSF, we work exclusively in this program. We don't run any other programs. B, we have both academic and entrepreneurial background, which we believe is important for the focus of the program in this particular agency. And hopefully I will be convincing you about that in the next slides. So what is the SBIR program at NSF? And hopefully I'll be able to provide you with some ideas, and my objective obviously is to encourage you to participate. So as you may know, the NSF is an independent federal agency. We support fundamental research and education across basically all fields of science and technology and engineering. And our current budget is about $7.5 billion. Of those $7.5 billion, around 190 million are dedicated exclusively for SBIR and STTR. And our mission in this program is to catalyze the commercialization of high-risk technological innovations. How we do that, and it's something that you are hopefully you're going to be able to appreciate by the end of this presentation. Good news for Arizona entrepreneurs is that we fund around 400 companies every year. So what are the objectives of the program? The first thing is to nurture high-impact technology innovations. And by high impact, we mean both societal impact and commercial impact. A colleague in the SBIR program in another agency once told me that we would only care about the money, and that is not correct. Our objective is to bring those disruptive technologies to market in order to have a positive impact in society. So it's to address a societal need via commercialization. And there's an overlap. There has to be an overlap between a market opportunity, big or small, and a societal need. What we are is a seed funding for startup companies and early stage tech ventures. I could say that basically we get many companies started, and that's, I would say, the sweet spot of the program. We award grants, not contracts, which means that your relationship with us as an agency will be different than what you may be used to see or have with other sister agencies in the SBIR program. So you could consider it as an equity-free investment, but obviously this is a grant and you do not owe us anything except to perform the work as awarded by NSF within the constraints of the budget, and to use this honestly without fraud, waste, and abuse. What we do and what we try to do is really to remove the risk of the technology so other government agencies and private investors, investors in the private sector can take over. So as a consequence, we are not an agency that will fund a company again and again and again and again. Every year we receive more than 2,000 proposals from almost 2,000 companies, and it is difficult for us to justify ethically to keep on going and giving money always to the same companies. And as I already said, and I will continue to repeat, we have a very strong focus on commercialization. The program has certain differences vis-a-vis other SBIR programs you may be familiar with, and I encourage you to look into our website. I will give you a link, and I will show you actually the website in a few minutes. We have made certain changes recently, and Phase one now is for $225,000, both in the SBIR and STTR program. And also because we want to attract many entrepreneurs and we serve many industries, we give now the flexibility to the PI or to the company to choose the duration of that award. So you will receive up to $225,000, and you can do this work between 6 and 12 months. Okay, obviously, we're going to evaluate how you plan your work and whether the scope of work for that amount of money is appropriate for 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 months. And if we believe we disagree, obviously we will, before award, we will advise you that you extend or you reduce the term. In phase two, we award $750,000, and that award lasts 2 years. So what do we expect in phase one? Phase one, we expect that you're going to perform feasibility research towards proof of concept. It is the concept of a product or service. It is not proof of principle of a philosophical research or scientific issue, which means that it would be very good for you if you present preliminary data in your proposal. So once you have established technical and commercial feasibility in your phase one, you apply for phase two, where you're going to be going through different iterations of prototyping, and many of our companies, depending on the market sector or industry sector where you're operating, are able to launch or to raise significant money in phase two. And that money is matched through a program called Phase 2B, where we match 50 cents on the dollar up to $1 million. So that means we give you another $500,000 for funds that have been obtained commercially by your company thanks to the NSF funded technology. And those funds can be licensing, R&D, commercial R&D services, investments, etc. We do not match other SBIR awards, and it is very rare that we match other federal funding unless it's really through tender and open competition. Okay. We do not have a formal phase 3 program as other agencies may have. So as I said, and I will continue to repeat, we try to de-risk your technology so you can more easily obtain investments from the private sector. Okay, so everybody is familiar with this value of death. Our objective is not to eliminate it, that's impossible, but to make it less painful. And that happens through a space of 5 years, basically, since you get your phase 1 until you end your phase 2B. We also offer all kinds of supplements that allow NSF to further our mission and also help you connect with academia, other industries, etc. So we will give you, if you're in phase 2, we'll give you supplements for hiring students, teachers, undergrads, postdocs, graduate students, high schoolers. We will also give you funds, if you qualify, to partner with NSF engineer research centers, community colleges, HBCUs, etc. So we give you grants, but we go beyond the funding. First and foremost, we coach you. The program director is evaluated on an annual basis by how much and how good we are coaching you, how well we are coaching you. Okay, so because most of our companies are very early stage startups, they need help, and the program director is basically one phone call away from the advice you need. We give you as well formal training on the lean startup model. You may be aware that NSF developed the ICOR program that little by little is being adopted by other agencies. We will give you commercialization assistance. We will send you to trade shows sponsored by NSF and all kinds of things. We insist on you and helping you connect to other small companies and to large businesses through something called the Industry University Research Centers, where you can sit at the table with very large multinationals who are working in collaboration with industry. So we give you more than money. Actually, what we're giving you is a prestige. And that may sound a bit pretentious, but I know for a fact that sophisticated investors look into have you receive an SBIR and an SBIR from NSF. If so, your chances of raising money are higher. So basically, we allow you to claim success in front of those investors, partners, or customers. I was doing my own estimate on public data that I was able to fund, so this is not an official NSF statement. And I was thinking, well, have we done in Arizona? And how are the folks from Arizona participating in the program? So I went all the way back to the early 80s, and I realized that we have given at NSF 200 awards, awarded and spent around $34 million. There were around 600 principal investigators and 80 companies participated. So this is very good. You can look at it from a half glass full or empty. I want to be realistic. As I said before, NSF is now at the level of $190 million per year. So I hope that this will be and serve as an encouragement for you to participate, and a call to action to all of you who collaborate with NSF, whether you are in academia, in economic development, or whether you are an elected official, to help create an innovation ecosystem that can benefit and participate in the SBIR STTR program in general, and in particular, NSF. So let me go quickly through what we fund and then what we do not fund. That is very important to set expectations. Let's start with who and what we fund. As I said before, we fund high technical risk innovations with high potential for commercial and societal impact. It's just not about making money. We do not fund technologies where normally a Series A or Series B has taken place, because at the time, well, you don't need us, frankly. And it's possible that the societal impact may not be as high. We only fund research and development as the SBIR STTR programs state by law. It is kind of a paradox, because we are obsessively speaking about commercialization as a way to reach or accomplish a societal benefit, but in reality, like all our agency sisters in the program, we only fund research and development. So you must raise your own money for commercialization activities. We are very focused on the startups and the early stage companies, and I'm going to show you some data. Specifically in 2014, 72% of the companies we funded were 5-year-old or younger. 90% of those companies had less than 10 employees, and 80% of those companies had never received a prior phase 2 awards. So again, we are focused on really early stage technologies, very early stage groups. We do not prevent and we do not punish any large company. We wish we had more. But we have seen that the larger the company, the lower the rate of success. And maybe it's because we are not a customer, and maybe the larger companies that used to come to us, maybe we're expecting more of a contractual relationship with us. And contrary to other agencies, this program is not being used to support a procurement function. So let's talk a bit about what we do not fund. We do not fund basic research. We do not fund projects that are not risky. When I say risky, it's not that the idea is bad or that the group doesn't know what they're doing. We want to fund extremely difficult things that no investor, or even sometimes no agency would touch with a 10-foot pole. Our job is to take the risk and help you. For that reason, we do not fund also projects are just improvements. So we call it incremental revolutionary improvements of an existing product or service. I like calling it the ice cream factory. Let's say that the government or an investor funded you to develop vanilla ice cream. Well, you may come now to do strawberry ice cream, and I love strawberries, but we will not fund just a different flavor. We would fund the ice cream. And sometimes we don't even fund the ice cream, we fund the milk and the eggs, just to give you an idea. We do not fund projects where we do not see a strong chance of commercial success. And this is not picking losers and winners, but we want to see commitment. And it is okay if you have never created a company. Actually, many companies have just 2 people, and start the day we fund them on phase 1. But we want to see that commitment, and we want to see that you understand where that technology is going, and that you're taking the right steps. And we will help you along the way. But not only, as I said, this applies to the technology, but it applies to the team. Which means that if you're running what is called a lifestyle company, or in the old times was called a SBIR meal, with all my due respect, we are not the best fit for you. Okay? And we can discuss that if you have questions in the Q&A session. We really want you to make a difference in society. So if your projects don't really move the needle, well, I don't think we're going to fund you. Because if we cannot make a big impact on your chances to succeed, there are better ways for us to use the taxpayer dollars and for you to raise money. So don't use us as a checking account. Use us as really a catalyzer, an igniter. Okay? Many companies that are totally focused on commercialization with great technologies have raised money already from their investors, and then they come to us, because this is undiluted funds. Yeah, you may be eligible, but are we going to make a difference in you and in your efforts? And obviously, we do not fund sales, marketing, customer and market research, business development, and those type of things. What you do is you identify the market need and the technology-based solution for that market need / societal need. And what we do in exchange is we offer you a very broad range of topics in many different areas of technology and industries to ensure that you have identified market need and you have a solution, or you think you have a solution, then you're welcome here. So we're talking about education technologies, information technologies, semiconductors, photonics, Internet of Things, all kinds of hardware, robotics, etc. Manufacturing and nanotechnology, chemical environmental technologies, biological technologies, and then smart health, biomedical. Those last 2, smart health and biomedical, are my area of expertise and what I do here. Just to give you an example that this system works, I've been here for 4 years and 3 months, and since then, the portfolio that I've built has, thanks to the work of these folks, raised more than $200 million. And forgive me if by using dollars as a parameter of success, I may convey the wrong idea that we only care about market. No, we care about the societal need. It's just that we are asking you that with our help, you use commercialization as the way by which you're going to bring this technology to good fruition for the benefit of the American people. So topic fit is much less important than meeting the technical and commercial requirements of the solicitation. Obviously, we try very hard, and I think we're good at that, not overlapping with our sister agencies. So we will not fund work that is typically funded by NIH or DoD or others. But if you have a great idea and it's maybe even off the wall, the way we've written the topics should encourage you to apply. And if you still have doubts, call the program director. I will show you the website in a little bit, and the names of the program directors are there. And we will find a way to, we will determine for sure whether that can be funded or not. And your proposal will receive fair review. Let me emphasize a little bit more what's different about us. We expect you to be responsive to market changes. So sometimes we receive technologies that, were developed in the 1960s, and that's very fun, but We respect you, but if you're not responsive to market changes, how are you going to compete? And why is that important? Because again, we are de-risking your technology. We want you to be ahead of the game. Your responsibility is to ensure that those taxpayer dollars are used responsibly to towards a product or a service. So if you're not responsive to market changes, well, you will be spending dollars as in a grant, but not really a commercialization project. Pivots are okay. You talk to us during the grant. We are always in contact, and it has to be justified. And you talk to the program director, and very often, if those pivots make sense, we will approve them. As I said before, you must develop and fund a viable commercialization approach. So when you come to us, and let's say in phase one, 50% of the proposal is technical, the other 50% asks you to describe different aspects of commercialization. Well, you need to think, you start by that societal need that you want to address, and then think about that product or service, how will it look like 1, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, and then think backwards and think useful questions. One, how much is going to take to do this? How much money is going to cost? What do you have to do over all these years, right? Who has to do it? So it's your team and the different skill sets that you're going to be needing at each stage of technology development. And then so we said, who's going to do it? What has to be done from a technical perspective? How much and how long? With those 4 things, you show us a picture and you tell us, okay, of all those, let's say, because I'm in the biomedical, let me stay in my area of comfort. Little biomedical medical device, very innovative, that is relatively easy. So let's say it's $6-7 million to put in the market. Of those 6-7 million, and maybe it's going to take you a few years, in the very beginning, you're going to request a certain amount of money from NSF, and you need to tell us what you're going to do with that money, and how that informs and facilitates the next steps. And also how you're going to go about raising the money, the other, let's say, 5 million that you need. As I said before, we are fully devoted to this program. Not that my colleagues in other agencies are not, it's just that we only do that and nothing else, okay? And we all have industry experience, have been entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, academics, etc. And I guess I will not say anything else about us because it may seem that I'm bragging too much. Let's talk a little bit about logistics. I am not going on purpose into many details because I want you to visit our website and we have lots of tools there that can help you. But just in a nutshell, we have 2 funding cycles per year. Phase 1 proposal submission deadlines are always in June and December. We use the NSF peer review process. So our reviewers, always in panel, come from academia, investor world, industry, entrepreneurs, etc. And following, obviously, the NSF guidelines, we use 2 sets of criteria. One is called intellectual merit, which is, well, how innovative is your technology? And then the other is called broader impacts. At NSF, we call it commercial and societal impacts. Normally, within 4 or 5 months, sometimes much earlier, around my average is 3.2 months, I have to say. We know already whether we are going to fund your technology or not. So you submit in June, do not be shy. In September, you can call us and tell us, hey, I have heard from you, what's going on? The most important thing is once you receive the fund, you're going to be immersed in a whole series of network activities and entrepreneurship education and support that we give you. We will even train you on how to talk to the media, how to use social media, how to talk to a journalist, and these type of things. So June and December are the deadlines for phase 1. The way we announce it is called a program solicitation, and there I'm showing you 2 links. First, you need to register with us. It's a complex process, so start sooner than later. And then we have all kinds of tools for help. And let me show you, I have clicked, like in a cooking program, I have clicked ahead of time on those links, and I have different things I want to show you. So first, here you have, is our website. Many things. On the how to apply link, you have tools we've put there and information to make sure whether you are a good fit or not. Information on how you should register the company, the solicitation, so the funding announcement opportunity. Checklist to prepare your proposal, be it SBIR or STTR. All this here, a step-by-step guideline on how to submit. So we have really chewed it for you. We're feeding you with a little spoon, and we're going to be showing you there basically screenshots of our electronic system so you know what to do. You have also all kinds of Q&A, videos, and then frequent asked questions. You have so much information in there that please, before you call the program director with a question, make sure that that question cannot be answered there. So this is an example of the step-by-step guide. It's a very long document, and we show you, you see, we go little by little in each screen, we tell you what to do, basically. It cannot be easier. Here I'm showing you online Q&As. We had actually on Tuesday, my colleague Peter Atherton, who works on the information technologies, did his webinar. Mine, for those of you interested in biomedical and smart health, will be on May 17th, so on and so forth. We are also trying to organize a Twitter chat. It will be my first one, but we'll be announcing that. And you just click on here, register today, and it will be placed in your calendar. And there is a 2-hour session with the program director. We cannot make it easier for you. Before you do that, you look at this video, and it's a YouTube video. Okay, so it's basically almost the same presentation that I'm showing you. We have as well a YouTube channel with tons of things there that you can look at. High-level presentations, detailed presentations, etc. Okay? So what are the key points that I would like you to remember? Unless you have been falling asleep, and because I'm talking to a computer, I don't know if you are asleep or not, so forgive me if you fell asleep. I know I'm between your lunch and a bureaucrat talking to you. So first thing, seed funding. Okay, not contracting, not R&D lifestyle, not a line of credit. Seed funding for high technical risk, high return innovations. Obsessively focused on commercialization, but don't worry if you don't even know how you're going to go about it. You just need to try it, okay? But we're going to be looking at it even from phase 1. We are not your customer. You identify the market need and just share it with us. We only fund R&D, so please don't try to use SBIR funds for non-R&D activities that will put you in trouble with our Office of Inspector General. It's okay to pivot, but they have to be evidence-based, and you need to discuss first with the program director. Do not worry too much about the topic or subtopic. Contact us in the solicitations that I show you the links to. We give you extreme detail on each topic and subtopic, and we give you also the email and phone number of the program director. Contact us. And if we do not respond to you, it's because everybody is calling, and do not take that as a negative answer. In case of doubt, submit, because the panel summaries and the reviews that you're going to receive from us, and then a debrief with the program director are so useful that will help you improve on a resubmission. But you must get started, because you cannot look at a proposal to NSF as a federal exam, and if you pass it, you get the money. This is really a strategic planning exercise for your company. So I hope that you're going to be learning and planning for your own company, and that exercise that you're going to share with us will help you whether you get funded by NSF or not. with that, I think we can start taking some questions.
Okay, so we're
Anita says that folks are not asleep. That's pretty good. And I understand that I may be able to hear you. So let's try that, and then we'll go back by chat.
Can you hear this okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So does anybody have a question? 1 second.
Hi. Can you explain how the NSF distinguishes between SBIRs and STTRs?
So we have SBIRs and STTRs. There's no difference among them in terms of award rate. The only difference at this time is that, like in other agencies, if you are awarded an STTR, you have to sub-award at least 30% of the work to an academic lab, federal lab, qualified not-for-profit research institution. And you must keep an amount of work as measured by the budget of at least 40% in your company. That is different in the SBIR program, where you can keep everything in the company, and if you decide to subcontract or sub-award, you must keep at least 2/3 of the work. Okay, but there's no difference between SBIR and STTRs. If you have received academic funding from NSF, we encourage you to go STTR. In fact, we were encouraging you before because the STTRs were longer. Now SBIR and STTR are the same money and the same length. So there's no difference. And to be frank with you, when we organize the panels, we mix them up, SBIRs and STTRs. So do not worry about it. I think for your criteria is whether you really need to sub-award part of that work to an academic company, an academic lab.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Don't be shy. If you're shy now, well, there are all these webinars that I just told you about. So,
Hi, I was wondering if you could talk about on the website, participants are encouraged to send a 2-page executive summary. Can you talk about what you're looking for in that executive summary?
Yes. So if you go to the solicitation, okay, let's say here, I'm going to click on the SBIR. There is, this is a PDF. You keep on reading. I know it's a lot of writing. I always fall asleep when I read it, so I will not blame you. But there's somewhere here where it says that you should send an executive summary to the program director, okay? And in that executive summary, basically, we want you to tell us a few things. The first one is describe your technology. Second, talk about your team and your company. And sometimes the team is you and a consultant or an advisor. That's okay. We want you to talk about the societal need / market need that you're trying to address, and a little bit about the competition. And if you have time, because we don't want more than 2 pages, talk about your plans for revenue generation. Send this to us by email. Don't put anything confidential, although anything you tell us obviously is protected, but that should be okay. And if you're in a hurry, just send us an email. It's okay, just with enough detail.
All right, who's next? Any other questions?
Hi, Jesus. This is Jen Watson with Tech Launch Arizona.
Hi.
We are working with a lot of startups that are developing various medical-related technologies, and frequently they have a hard time deciding when to apply to NSF and when
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Could you speak closer to the microphone?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
We're
Yes.
working with a lot of startups that are developing medical-related technologies, and they try to decide between NSF and NIH. Can you go into some detail on what types of medical technologies NSF is interested in?
Okay, I think, the most important portion of the question, which is that some companies don't know whether they should go NIH or NSF, and whether I can help you there. So I think I can help you. we are focused on early stage platforms, which means that you basically just get started with us. We are not funding clinical research or clinical trials in any way. And we are not trying to address, if you're talking now about biomedical and smart health, we're not trying to address a specific disease or condition. We look at those diseases or conditions more as societal needs. So if you're at the stage where your work is more applied because you already have the basic chemistry, engineering, you may want to go to NIH. But you have to be smart about, and you can do both. The question is how you go about it. A, do not submit overlapping, similar or equivalent proposals. Not only is it illegal, but you're going to waste your time and our time, and you may end with an investigation by the OIG. Or you can submit them overlapping and similar and equivalent, but you're going to disclose it. And if NIH calls you or I call you saying, hey, we may move this to award, you have to withdraw either NIH's or ours. So the way to do it is you come to us for the platform, the basic stuff, and then you use that at NIH for more preclinical or applied work. Let me give you an example. There's a famous company in the Midwest that developed a new type of PCR technology. And the question, now I see from Anita, I'm not talking about the question, but it's okay. What I was trying to say was important. So I'll go to Anita's question right away. My apologies. So what I was trying to say is we funded once a company that developed a new type of PCR. It was really, really early stage, and they did very well. Then they started they couldn't come to us anymore because it was just more applied work. But they started being very successful at NIH because they used this platform funded by NSF for different diagnostic or public health applications. And NIH funded them for each one of them because NIH mission is to solve healthcare and disease problems. So I hope that helps. Now, the question is, what medical device NSF is interested in? I don't want to tell you because, as I said before, if I tell you, I'm going to bias you. If you think that you have something cool and innovative and you're trying to solve a serious problem, just send it to us, okay? And let me show you one more thing. If you go to nsf.gov, you're going to click on awards. This is a bit slow. Anyway, under the main page of NSF, you have an awards database. Click on awards, click on search awards. And if you want to have an idea of what I have been funded in this area, when we are on WebEx, oftentimes we have problems with these. I apologize. So go to nsf.gov, click on awards, search awards, and there you put SBIR, STTR, and put any keyword. You could put Soriano if you want. Click on both, select both active and expire awards, and then you're going to have many, all the things we've been funding. And you're going to have an idea of what we fund. And the conclusion is, oh my God, these guys fund lots of different things. I hope I helped you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, do we have any more questions for Jesus? All right, looks like that's it. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.